Welcome along to another episode of the Salt and Sauce Chat Show. I'm David Simmons, and on this week's show I'm delighted to be joined by Scottish DJ, digital entrepreneur and content creator. We've got SUZIE MAC on the show.
Hey!
SUZIE, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, I'm looking forward to this. We're going to have a right good chat. I'm going to start obviously on the online side of things. I mean, almost everybody these days has got some form of online account. When did you first start obviously signing up for the likes of YouTube, on Instagram, and start taking things quite serious? Because you've got a fair few followers, haven't you?
Yeah, I would say 2018 was when I started. Like, I think I went from like 3,000 followers on Instagram to like 250,000. Like in a year. It was crazy. It was just crazy. So I'd say that was when I had my massive jump in followers, and it was basically because I'd been working in radio, and like I've worked for the likes of like Clyde One. I used to be on up in Aberdeen. I used to work for North Sound One as well. I was on the breakfast show there for a while, so I kind of had stepped out of working in radio, and I was working down in London at that point, and like I wasn't earning that much money, and I was like, hey, like this online world you could make money out of this. Like if you build a following, it's like quite a, you know, everyone's interested in numbers right now. Like it's a number thing. So I just started posting pretty much every single day consistently. And that was my rule. Like I could not go through a day without posting for a while. Now I don't do that because I can't be bothered. but at that point I was just obsessed with it a little bit, and my following just went up, and then it kind of doubled, and then it's kind of stayed quite the same kind of level for a while, maybe a year or so. But yeah, so I kind of got a bit obsessed with it, to be honest, and it's just like everything I do in life, like I've become a little bit obsessed with it, and I just keep doing it, and every day I'm thinking about it and stuff like that, and I became that. Then I realised that's slightly unhealthy, especially when it comes to followers and numbers and stuff. But anyway, we can talk about that things later on.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, like, I certainly don't know about yourself, but back in my day when you went to see the careers advisor at school, I mean, the online side of thing was never an option, really, to be honest. No. I mean, you touched on your time in radio as well. Was that always the career advisor? Is that the role you wanted to go down when you left school?
Well, I started acting. That was my first. I went to youth theatre. I went to Pace Youth Theatre, and like loads of people have come through that now. It's unreal. Like Richard Madden, who was a bodyguard, and he's done like Disney stuff and all that. He was at it. Paolo Nutini was at it. Scott Reed from like Still Game, Methadone Mick. And other people as well that I will mention right now because they're not getting good press right now. But a lot of people have come through it, and I did that when I was younger, and I thought I wanted to act. I was actually in Tune the Fat when I was a kid as well, so I had a speaking part in that, which some people will not let me forget.
So what was that scene? Sorry to interrupt. What was the scene in Tune the Fat?
So I was in the classroom scenes with Karen Dunbar. Oh gosh, I'm hitting a ruler there. I was in the classroom scenes with Karen Dunbar, so I got to like ask her really cheeky questions and stuff like that. Like
that was the one where she portrayed the sort of Western Isles woman, wasn't it?
Yes, she's great. She's such a nice person as well. But I used to have to go into school the next day, so I would film that in the summer, and then I'd go into school, and I'd like have forgotten about it because it was something I did in my summer holidays or whatever. And I'd go into school, and everyone I've been reminded of it. I couldn't watch it. I remember being so embarrassed. Like I was like, oh my god, I'm in like third year in school, and this is just horrible. Like, and people would be shouting the lines at me in the corridors and all that. So yes, I started doing that, and then I realised I didn't really like acting that much, and I knew I had to do something that was like out there type thing, like because I'm quite a big vivacious personality, so I've always loved music. That's just always been a thing throughout my life, and I ended up I did work experience at North Sound. Like that's like it was like a experience day where you like learned how the radio station worked, and then I went, like I've lived kind of in different places throughout my life. So I lived in London for a while. So I moved back down to London. I wasn't getting anywhere in radio and stuff. And then I got a call when I was living in London asking me if I wanted to demo for the breakfast show on North Sound, because they'd remembered me from that day of the work experience. So it just shows you like doing these things can really like open up opportunities for you, you know. So I demoed and I got the job, and that's how I got into radio. And then I did a bit at Clyde, so I was on, like, that was the scariest thing ever. when I'd have to go in and do the travel during Super Scoreboards in Clyde, like literally like all these football managers and stuff would be standing in there. And like I'd walk in and I'd be like, hiya. So there's like 4 of them on at the same time, the pundits, and I'd be walking in and I'd be like so nervous and stuff. And some people were so nice to me as well when I did that. But yeah, I've done a fair bit of random stuff. I seem to be one of these people in life that kind of like does like, it's always an entertainment though, but it's always like a dot from thing to thing. And then I realised that people were starting to maybe like not be so focused on radio. They were starting to focus on like online social media, and people were building podcasts, and like that, like life has changed the way that we consume media now. So that's why I put my energy into that, and this is where I am today.
Yeah, that's superb. I mean, do you know how many followers you've got over all platforms? I noticed on TikTok, for example, I think you're at 58,000 followers or something. Yeah,
that's one that I've not. I love TikTok. Like I'm getting so into it, but I feel like I've missed the boat on it. I feel like if you're an early adapter, I think they're called, these people, that you can really like, you can just do, like there's so many Scottish people doing really well on TikTok, and I think they were there at the start and they believed in it at the start, and it's something that I feel like I missed the boat on. One of my friends last year, he's called Bash the Entertainer, he's on like 2 million or something, and he was like that to me last year. He's like, Suze, you need to be on TikTok. And I'm like, I don't know what to do, because TikTok's one of those ones where you need to find your niche on it. So I kind of feel like I've missed the boat on that, although I think if I'm really obsessed over it, I probably could grow my following on it and stuff, so you never know. But overall, I think 750,000 maybe, and like my Facebook page, and yeah, it's quite a lot. But I don't feel like, it's weird because I don't feel like I have that amount of followers. I don't feel like that, and also like I'm still just a normal girl from Paisley. Like, I don't see it as like, I don't get it. People act weird around me because it sometimes, and I'm like, they're just people on an app. Like it's not that big deal. Like it's not that big deal. People are doing actual important things in the world, and it's just followers on an app. So
yeah, I mean a lot of things were going viral with likes of TikTok and like Instagram, YouTube, etc. all the way through lockdown. How did you find lockdown and putting your material out on the likes of TikTok, etc.?
I found it really hard because before just to get to where we are now, I started basically, kind of came off doing radio stuff, and I ended up DJing, and that was my job before. Like my full-time job was DJing, doing clubs, and like I got to DJ at Transmit Festival, the last one that was on, and I got to, you know, like I've done quite a cool few things with DJing. Like I used to like be the DJ for Lawrence Chaney at a night in Glasgow and stuff, and Lawrence Chaney's now going on to win Drag Race. It's like amazing. So I've done a lot of random things, and that was my full-time earning, and then obviously lockdown stopped all of that. I mean, still to this day, I did my first paid gig. I don't even know if I was supposed to do it. Like, it was in a garden. It was for a hen party at the weekend there, and I wasn't near anywhere or anything, but like we still don't even know when we can play music in bars and stuff in Scotland, so we're kind of still in a limbo with it. But yeah, I found it really hard because of copyright, and that is the hardest thing, because I haven't produced my own music yet, and that's something that I'm going to start doing, and I'm learning to do, but it takes a long time to learn. It's a skill set that you need to develop and get good at. That I like during lockdown, using other people's music and getting banned for copyright streaming. I was doing live streams and stuff, and then I would be getting pulled down, and so yeah, it was quite frustrating. It was quite hard to be a DJ during that time period.
Yeah, I mean, no, it does. No, absolutely. So does the whole copyright thing. I get that as well. I mean, in a few your sort of live broadcasts that you've done in your DJing work, you sing as well, and you've got a not bad wee tone on you. Are you thinking about maybe releasing your own material with vocals as well, or?
Yeah, like I think because I've started to really embrace that's one thing that I learned during lockdown. I really love house music, and I didn't really know as a DJ what type of music, what kind of genre that I was going to focus on in life, because I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like this, but like when you do gigs in Scotland, or if you do, say, for instance, a bar gig or something like that, you have to play for the audience. So the audience could be very varied. So you can't really play your own genre of music until you get to a stage where people come to see you perform. Like they want to see you, like they come to see a show because you're DJing. And I'm not at that stage yet. So, but during lockdown, I was like, wow, I really love house music. I love like vocal house, deep house, all this kind of stuff, Afro house, just all kind of like old school house songs that like just, I don't know, they just made me feel amazing during lockdown, and that's the sort of stuff I started playing. So it kind of helped me, lockdown helped me develop that and decide exactly what genre I kind of want to focus on. But yeah, with house music, you can sing, but you don't need to sing a lot, because a lot of it's repetitive. So like, I think I can sing enough to be able to sing on a house track or something like that, but I'm not like an amazing singer. Like I think I'm like, I can't help it though. See, when I'm doing my live streams and that, I can't help singing along with it. I just think it's just natural to do that. And I'm obviously very like, I think my DJ sets and my streaming and stuff like that is very different, because I've got a lot of energy. I'm very much talk to the camera and stuff, because I realise a lot of DJs during lockdown were doing these boring streams where they don't even look up at the camera or talk to anyone or acknowledge that people are actually watching. And I realised that like, you're watching a show, it's not the same as a DJ set when you've got people around you. It's an actual, like, it's a captive audience. They're staring, they're watching everything, they're looking at the background, they're looking, you know, we've learned that during Zoom calls. You're looking more, when you see somebody on the news, you're looking at the background, you're looking at to see what books they're reading or on their bookcase and stuff like that. So I kind of learned that quickly, and I thought, you need to make this a show. So I was doing a lot of them, but then again, I didn't want to tarnish my account with copyright strikes and stuff, so I had to kind of stop that. And now we're hopefully getting back to live performances, and that, you know, that's just the best.
I mean, have you got a residency anywhere, or do you just go from venue to venue across, or?
So I do like Ashton Lane in the West End. I do Grosvenor Cafe, which is like upstairs, and it's like an old converted cinema. And I got to do 2019 and 2020. I'm trying to work out my years because it feels like it was just a big blur that time period there. I got to do that New Year's Eve. I got to DJ and like do the countdown. That was the scariest moment of my life. See, doing the countdown is such a responsibility, because like, you don't want to be out because like, if you're out, people are like, hang on a minute, somebody's going, it's already the next year. Like, so I was dead nervous about that. Like, I was pure for weeks. I was like, right, okay, I need to like practice the countdown in my head. Like, I have to practice, and then I would actually I've decided on what songs I was playing up to the bells and stuff, and then so it was there, but I got it bang on. So I was happy with that. But that was the first time I've had to do anything like that, and I don't like that responsibility. It's scary. It's
like
scary.
Going back to your radio days when you're back time with the news at the top of the hour. You must have had to work out how you were doing it. Yeah,
exactly.
Like we mentioned, you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Have you got a preference as to a social media platform you enjoy putting your material out on more?
I like TikTok now, but I still struggle with TikTok to pick what to put out. I've been just trying to do, I would say when it comes to social media, I think you need to just trial and error. I'm one that just puts things out and sees what works. But the other thing I would say with my social media is like I use it over all the platforms. So I'll record a TikTok video and then put it on Instagram Reels. And sometimes it does terrible and dive bombs on TikTok, but does amazing on Reels. Like, so I just believe you just have to, like, I just put stuff out when I feel like it now. Before I was regimented. Now I just put out stuff when I want to now. And I think if anyone is like trying to grow a following, it's just about working out what your audience likes and what they react to. Like, there's certain things that will work and other things won't, and that's just the nature of the game. So but yeah, I would say I enjoy as just a user TikTok. I think it's so funny. Like, I literally had so many comedians, and sorry, I hope that you can't hear. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but there's a nest above my head right now, and there's like squawking.
No, I can't hear them.
That's okay, as long as you can't hear them. As long as you can hear them.
So just to, I mean, we've talked about social media accounts and stuff like that. When you're putting out content online, obviously you're opening up a world of abuse potentially, where some people control you. Have you ever been victim of any trolls online? Every
day of my life. I would say I'm at a good stage with it now. I struggled maybe like a couple of years ago when like I've had like full YouTube videos made up, and like it's absolutely unreal. Like, people have made up videos about me, took my video and like slagged every single like movement of my face and stuff like that. Like it's wild. There's just a lot of bad people on the internet. But now I kind of realise that, like, if I get offended or upset about certain things that people say to me, it's like picking on an insecurity that I've got. So if I don't feel insecure about the thing, then it doesn't bother me. And then the other thing I've realised about trolling is that basically trolling comes from an unhappy place. Like, if you're a happy person, you're not sitting on a computer writing abuse to strangers. Like, you're out living your life and having fun and being happy. So I see it as, like, during the lockdown period, I felt like the trolling got worse, to be honest with you. And I think that most people that are either in the public eye or just have like a social media following at all, like, I feel like it just got a little bit worse during that, because everyone's mental health is not in a good place right now, and we're starting to try and like recover from that now. So I have a lot of empathy, but also I don't believe that like someone should be sitting abusing someone, because it's I mean, sometimes I call out people, but most of the time I just block. I block people every single day of my life, like, and it's not. Sometimes it's just because I'm just like, I've got to this stage now where I just block people that don't have a profile picture. Because, like, if they're following my account, I think you should be showing your face. If you're following my account, you should be big enough to show your face. Like, so I just block the account straight away. So if you're trying to sneak on me these days, you can't go on with no profile picture. But I feel like in regards to it, like, the trolling that I've received and the trolling that, like, has affected me in any shape or form is out of my control, and I see it as the other person's problems, not mine, because I'm a relatively happy person, and the only people's opinion that matters of you are people around you that are close to you, not strangers.
No, absolutely.
So,
I get that.
That's the way I deal with it. That's the way I deal with it. Plus, you can't control what people say about you. It's just, they'll make up the narrative in their head if they want to. Like, it's up to them. Like, you know,
I seen a video you done on Instagram which was quite powerful. It says, please stop looking at Instagram as if it's real. Please realise that people are hurting people and putting content out there that people want to see. Do you think that some people just take like Instagram and social media too seriously, do you think?
Yeah, because I think we've got to this stage with it now that, like, everyone is trying to this is a really normal, like, everyone says this, but everyone's trying to show the world that they live this perfect life. Like, and even with me, it's like, I'll only post things that I want the world to see, not that I wouldn't post things that I don't want the world to see, because, like, I used to do things like that, but I feel like I'm a way more guarded now in regards to, like, I used to post, like, I stopped drinking over, like, we're coming up to 2 years now. I've not drank alcohol, and like when I used to drink, I used to post Instagram but story videos when I was absolutely steaming and stuff like that, and like I'd wake up in the morning and regret it and stuff. So I don't do that anymore, and it's like I feel now I'm like guarded because I know how much people can jump on that kind of stuff and tear you apart. Like, but now I'm a guarded person, I'd say, on social media. Even though I'm still me, but I just don't share as much. I just don't.
Yeah. I mean, but you mentioned there that you've not touched a drop of alcohol, because you've done a TikTok video as well. I mean, it was, I don't know if people know too much about TikTok, but when somebody can like post a video asking a question, you reply to it, and the question was, tell me a moment that changed your life forever. And that was when you told the story about why you've never touched a drop of alcohol. Yeah,
I've not drank like for... It'll be November's when it's 2 years, but it's weird because the longer I don't drink, the longer I don't miss it at all. Like, you become like used to that way of life. Like, you become just, it's weird though at first, because like we're Scottish and drinking is major part of our culture. It's major, like, as much as being Irish is a major part of our culture. So you sort of end up being a bit of a leper in a way, like a social leper, because everyone around you wants to get drunk all the time, and you're kind of like, I don't do that anymore. So it's like, I've lost maybe a couple of friends. I don't hang about with certain people anymore because, like, that's my old life and this is my new life. So not drinking has been an amazing thing for me. It is one of those, it's a big decision. It's something that you struggle with it at the start, because it's just, I found when I stopped drinking that, like, everything in my life was surrounded by alcohol, like, in the sense of when it's a celebration, oh, let's go out and have a drink. When it's something sad or someone passes away or something, it's have a drink. It's just like everything in your life becomes associated when you go out with your friends and, brunch and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard to go back to being like a child again. and it's like really learning to live again. It's such a weird experience, but like, you know, for me, it was making me, when I drank, it was making me like unhappy. And I do believe that alcohol was a major factor in people's mental health. I do believe that alcohol it's a depressant. It's a depressant, no matter what anyone says. It's, you know, everyone has the fear after they get too drunk and stuff, and that's because that's what it's done to you. So like waking up every morning and never having that feeling is great. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't get embarrassed and stuff now, but because I do, I'm still me, but it's different. It's just a different way of living, and yeah, it's like that's mad. It's honestly, it's really hard to meet a guy though. It's so hard to. No, I swear to God, because everyone asks you, the first thing they'll ask you is, "Do you want to go for a drink sometime?" And you're like, "Well, actually." Sometimes I don't say anything. Like if I was going on a date or something like that, I wouldn't say anything because I'll be like, oh, like this is going to be an awkward conversation before I've even met the person, and they're going to judge me and stuff like that. So, but now I just might just go and drive. I'll be like, I'm driving and stuff, and then I'll tell them that I don't drink anymore and stuff. But there's loads of people that I honestly know so many people that have stopped drinking, and I think I'm at that age now, like I'm in my 30s, that like people do start to reevaluate their life and maybe think that's actually not working for me anymore. It's not the same as being 21. You know what I mean? You start to kind of grow up when you're in your 30s, hopefully. So I feel like that it's kind of just a transformative time of life when you hit your 30s, and yeah, it's worked in it's been beneficial for me. Sorry if I keep talking. So. No, bash on. We need to actually talk about your podcast, which leads on to quite nicely. It used to be called An Englishman, an Irishman and a Scot. It's now been rebranded as The Weekly Roast. Tell us a bit about this. So during lockdown, production company in London came to me and they were like, "We like you. Have you got any ideas for a podcast? Have you ever done one?" And I was like, I thought I'd missed the boat on that. The way I was talking about Twitter, I was like, have I missed the boat on podcast? And they're like, nah, you've not. You've definitely not missed the boat. Like it's starting to just come into its own now. So I had this idea to have 3 people from different places, and then an Englishman, an Irishman and a Scot. Like we switched around the joke, obviously. So we've got Nathan Cason, he's a comedian. He's done things like Mock the Week and Michael McIntyre and all that kind of stuff. So he's based in London. And then Billy Halpin is the Irishman he's based in LA. He actually lives in LA. He's a TV producer. He used to produce Loose Women. He's produced The Voice. He's produced all these big TV shows. It's unreal. Like he's just like, oh yeah, I met this person the other week and I met this person. But anyway, we've never met each other. So wow. The whole premise of the podcast is that we've never actually met each other, but we kind of just get together every week and we kind of catch up with each other. And it's been great actually because we've all experienced lockdown, like when we've spoke to each other on a weekly basis, even though we're strangers. And it's been different for like somebody that's living in California to someone that's living in England to obviously Scotland as well. So it's weird, but we actually really click. So I hope it goes on. I mean, we've signed a contract for a year with it, so I hope it continues after that. But you never know what can happen. But I'm really enjoying doing it. So, but it's just been great to have somebody to talk to during COVID, and it's just been have a laugh with, because it is a comedy podcast. Like I'm the butt of the jokes a lot of the time, but I'm cool with that. I like being the butt of the jokes, and I'm the only female on it as well. So I'm used to that situation. Like whenever I did radio, when I was on my breakfast show in Aberdeen, I was with 2 guys as well. So it's kind of like I'm used to being in that scenario, so it works for me.
Is there any plans to meet up with the guys when restrictions ease?
Yeah, I don't know, because I would say, like, obviously Billy's in LA, but I'm sure he'll be coming back to the UK because he actually ended up missing Christmas with his family and stuff. You would normally come back at Christmas time, but last year, obviously, they weren't allowed to fly back. So I'm sure we will at one point. But it's kind of weird. It'll be really weird when we meet each other because we don't know each other. Like, I feel like I'll be weird for about 10 minutes. But yeah, it's a strange one. But yeah, it's working.
Good. Well, may it continue. I mean, well, a few things I noticed as well when I was looking up you. 5 things on a Friday. Yeah,
I did do that. I've stopped that. I'm going to be honest with you. My life has gone in a different direction right now because I've started a new business. I basically decided during COVID, I was like, I can't rely on creative money like the way that my DJing just went like that down the pan. So I've started a new it's like a lighting business called Light Up Electrics. So I've been focused on building that, and that's a whole new ball game, learning about Facebook ads, learning about like just designing a website and optimizing it and all that kind of stuff. So I've kind of not been doing my socials the way that I used to do my socials, and I do want to get back to it. And the other thing is I've just bought my first house. So like I've been focused on real life stuff. Like I'm building a business and I've bought a house. So I haven't had the time to put in and energy to put into social media the way that I used to like be obsessed about it. So yeah, I will get back to it. But yeah, that 5 things in a Friday was just a way of just putting content out, because I think people like repetition. I think people like knowing what they're getting on the tin, like when you start something. So that's why I did that every Friday, but I've not done it for so long. Everyone's like moaning at me, like I get like, when are you doing live streams again? When are you doing your DJ sets and stuff? And I'm always like, I can't. I'm just trying to be an adult right now. I've bought a house. I've bought my first house. Like I'm talking to solicitors every day. Like I can't do everything. And that's one of my biggest flaws in life. I try and do too much. Like I try and do too much on my own. Like I'm so bad at that. Like I do everything. I edit. I do everything. Like I edit videos and just everything on my own. And sometimes you need to realize that you need help from other people. Teamwork makes the dream work, they say. That's it.
That's the bottom line. So yeah, I mean, you touched on there the Light Up Electrics. What sort of products do you have online that we could purchase?
Yeah, so I've got like I'm trying to get better lights for like ring lights and stuff, and I wanted to have it so that a content creator like myself would go on and they could have every type of light available for every situation, because like sometimes you need lights for on the go. I've got like 2 ring lights here right now. And then the other thing is I'm selling like lights for your background, because as I said, people are looking at the background, they're trying to work out like what's that? Like I've got my LGBTQ plus. Well, it's actually not, it's actually just an LBGTQ. I get this all wrong all the time. LBGTQ, whatever. And my gay pride flag basically. And I've got my Ireland flag, because I sometimes feel more Irish than Scottish. Then I've got my Scottish flag because my grandparents were Irish, so I lived a lot of my life. I lived a lot of my life doing Irish things. that's why I feel a wee bit more Irish sometimes than Scottish. Like I did Irish dancing and all that when I was wee, and I'm a big Celtic fan, and so like it's just that's the way I feel. Like. Yeah. And yeah, especially right now. But yeah.
So these lights can help show the background. They can help people on the move or doing.
Yeah. So any of your content, like cool, like you can get like neon lights for the background of your, your situation and stuff like that. So, but when I move into my other house, this is my parents' house right now that I'm in. When I move into my other house, so wait till you see it. It's going to look like a Christmas tree.
There'll be no birds on the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. There'll only be people on the ceiling. Yeah.
No, nice one. So that can all be purchased at lightitupelectrics.com, is it?
That's it. Thank you so much. You're plugging my wee website.
Hey, there we go. You mentioned you're a Celtic fan. Yes. What do you think next season's got in store for Celtic?
I don't think it's going to be as good as we think. I think that I don't think that the prayers will be answered too quickly. I think that it's going to take Celtic a few years to recover from this situation that we've ended up in. And I hope that Celtic fans don't put all their hope and pressure onto one person, because I believe it's a organisational thing. It's not just one person's shoulders that everything lies on, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if it is Eddie Howe, then like give the guy a wee bit of time to settle in, like because it's going to take time to build a good strong team and change things, and like so I just hope that everyone doesn't just, if it's like shite at the start, sorry to swear, if it's rubbish at the start, if it's rubbish at the start, I hope everyone doesn't just like he's shite, like I hope everyone just kind of gives him a bit of time, not too much time though, we can't have too much time, but like
Well, it took Stevie Gerrard 3 years to get to where he is now at Rangers. I mean, at this point of us recording just now, Eddie Howe hasn't been named as manager yet, so it could still be someone different. But one person that has been named is obviously Dominic Mackay, who's coming for Peter Lawwell. I mean, he's got a big job on his hands as well, hasn't he?
Yes, and I think because, you know, Peter Lawwell has been there for so long, like everyone around, like it's a whole, like the whole business, the whole organisation will change, and they'll have to like react well to the changes that take place, like, you know, inside the building, like inside Celtic Park, like just even the staff and stuff. So everything's going to be different. I hope it's for the best. Like I hope it's a good choice, and I hope it's going to be like, you know, it's going to take us into where we should be. Like, like it's really hard, like to not get, like it's hard to even talk about last season. Like it's really hard to talk about it, just the frustration as a fan. Like it's really hard to talk about without, like it almost gets you a wee bit upset inside, because you're kind of like, how did that happen? How did that happen? Like
that's it. I mean, if you sit back and actually look at the season that just has happened, if you like, I mean, what's happened to Celtic, Rangers winning the league? No one would have predicted a St Johnstone double cup win.
No.
So I mean, I get what you're saying. It is a bit mental. I mean, do you get along to Celtic Park much when things are back to normal? Do you normally go along and back the boys?
So the last game I went to, I don't get to go that often, but the last game I went to, I feel like I'm a bad omen for Celtic, because the last game I went to was Brendan Rodgers' last game. That's the last game that I went to. So I feel like I'm some sort of bad omen or something. And yeah, I think we beat, it was like Hamilton or somebody, and we won like 4-1 or something like that. It was, you know, like Scott Sinclair was still playing for Celtic, Kieran Tierney was still playing. And I love going to Celtic Park because I just love the atmosphere. I just think it's just a lovely like community of people. I don't know if it would have been so good last season if we were actually allowed to go to the games. I doubt it. I think it would have been, I don't know though, because sometimes you think, would the Celtic support have boosted Celtic's morale during that time period? Would that have changed things because they weren't there? I don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know what went on in those changing rooms unless, you know, somebody that plays for the team or something like that. You'd never really know. But yeah, that's the last game I went to, and intended on going to more games, but obviously, because I was living in London, like I've moved back to Scotland probably around that time, so that's kind of I've been about, so I haven't been able to go. You know, I would love a season ticket. I'd love a season ticket. I'd go on my own. I wouldn't even care. I'd go on my own. I'd make friends around me. It would be great. I'd love it. I'd love that. Some of my friends have season tickets and they absolutely love it. Like okay, maybe they wouldn't have loved last season, but they normally love it, and they've got friends for life from just being beside somebody for a year, you know.
Well, there you go. I mean, you've said since you quit the drinking that you're finding it hard to meet a man. So any sort of handsome, tall, dark, and handsome Celtic supporting season ticket holder with a spare seat, you never know.
A spare seat. Oh my god, that would be amazing. No, seriously though, seriously, get at me. No, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a lovely community of fans, and we were very frustrated last season, and that was understandable. I don't know, you know, what anyone would have expected it to be any different, you know, from the silence and stuff, from not saying anything. We still, well, at this point, we still don't know who the manager is and stuff. So I think everyone's just itching to know who it's going to be, and itching to see what changes they're going to implement, you know, to see who's, because like, the whole team's needs changed. Like, yeah. It just needs changed. We need to restructure everything.
So, like we said, at this point of recording, it's looking quite hopeful that we'll be coming out of lockdown, even though Glasgow is still in Tier 3, Level 3, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you're going to do when we get to that Level 1, that Level 0, and ideally, touch wood, all things is back to normal?
I don't know. Maybe go. I know it's terrible to say this. I'm like, go abroad, go on holiday, maybe. But yeah, just. I mean, I like career-wise, I want to just start DJing again. I DJ'd at a...
Would you ever do that abroad, Susie? Would you ever go and DJ abroad?
Actually, I DJ'd in Ibiza. The last time I was in Ibiza, one of my friends owns a bar there, and I got to DJ there. That's my dreams. That's what I want to do. I want to tour. Like, but that has to come from making your own music, really. That's where we're at. You can't just be a DJ that plays other people's music unless you're like a tour DJ, like you're supporting someone, like DJing on stage for someone behind them. That's really the only way. So you have to like make your own music. So like I haven't been able to focus on it as much as I want to, but I'm going to, now that I've got my house and stuff like that, I'm going to get a head down and get into it, because I really love performing. I really do. I really enjoy it. It's like fun. I just love it. And it's weird because everyone would be like, I can't believe you don't drink and stuff like that, and you're just so mad. And I'm like, that's just who I am. I don't need alcohol to be like this. I'm the party anyway, you know.
Brilliant. I mean, even so, like if you look at the charts these days, I mean, Joe Corey, I mean, he sort of started off in Geordie Shore, I think. Am I right in saying he was one of the boyfriends of the girl, and now look at him, he's top of the charts because he's went on, he's created his own tunes, he's collaborated with some big names. Is that the dream for you? Yeah, 100%. I don't have like a dream collaboration or anything, but there's so many people coming out of Scotland that are really talented. There's Elias and Berentos, they're doing really well in house music, and I think they just remixed one of the like Motown Legends songs, and it's doing really well and stuff like that. There's a lot of talent within Scotland that I could work with, you know. That it's good to collaborate with people that are like into the same thing as you. But yeah, definitely like going forward, the dream is to I want to be in the charts. I want to have my own song in the charts, like 100%. In fact, I'm going to just be like put out like I'm going to have my own song in the top 40 at one point. Like I'm putting it out there and I'm saying it now. You heard it here first. Just remember exactly where you heard that here first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want this to come up and be like, do you remember when she said that in like 2035 or something like that? Like, yeah, I want this to be like one of my I'm going to do that.
Suzie Mac featuring Calvin Harris.
Yeah, now look at that for a collaboration. And the thing is, I know it sounds mad, but he's from Scotland, and if somebody's talented, he would potentially work with someone from Scotland. So like, it's not out of reach. Like, yeah,
I mean, even the guy that done the Weatherman. I mean, he was a postie for Scotland somewhere, on TikTok, and he got to #1. So. Yeah. I'm maybe going to put you on the spot a little bit here, Suzie, but I know you've said that there's some, obviously, social media outlets that you can't play copyrighted music. How did he get away with doing stuff like that on TikTok? Was that his own material, the Weatherman song? Because I believe was it a New Zealand sales song or something like that, a sailor song?
I think because it's old. So basically, nobody would have been interested in copyrighting that, if that makes sense, because it's old and like it's a sea shanty song that nobody would have thought, oh, we really need to copyright that because that's going to end up in the charts one day. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's probably how he got away with it, because he sang over it, and he probably did credit them as well, which is a big thing with it. Like, for instance, I can do a DJ set on YouTube, and what happens after when I come off is then they go through it, listen to it, pick out the songs that belong to the artist, and then it'll come out, you'll see it, there'll be a list of the tracks of the songs. That means that any of that video can still be shown because they're giving the permission for you to do it, but the money goes to the person that made the song. Yeah. So yeah, there are ways to get around it. Some DJs were doing really creative ones. Like I saw somebody doing a DJ set in a hot air balloon during lockdown, but this is the thing. Like you need a team to do all the filming and stuff. It's a big thing. And but yeah, listen, nothing's impossible in life. That's the way I feel anyway. We're going to win the league next year. Nothing's impossible. Nothing is impossible.
That's it. Do you remember the first CD you ever bought? I know you're quite into music. I just wanted to ask you, do you remember the first CD?
Tape, actually. Tape. I bought a cassette. Yes, I'm that old. I bought Return of the Mac. That I listened to it in the radio the other day, and I went, Mum, do you know that was the first tape that I ever bought? And then they told me the year, and I was like, I think I was 10 or 11. And my mum was like, you were into that kind of music at 10 and 11? Like, where did you go? And I remember going to, like, was it called Our Price or something? Or something price? It was orange.
I don't know what
I went to buy it. I remember going to get my cassette, and yeah, and I was into like pretty out there music then, so obviously it is something that's obviously sat with me throughout my life. But yeah, well, that's what
mine was Hanson and Umbop was my one. That's a tune. Maybe you could remix that. You could remix that.
Yeah.
There we go.
You can remix anything if they let you. That's the thing. They need to let you give permission.
And obviously, that's what you should call your DJ set when you do get back into clubs, is Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac, yes, exactly. It's funny because I started my name is not that I can't even say my name on this, but it's not far off what my real name is. But I started SUZIE MAC as a kind of alter ego. Like Beyonce has Sasha Fierce and probably Nicki Minaj has one, and everyone has alter egos. I started that because I didn't want anyone to be able to add my actual personal Facebook account, and it ended up sticking with me. I never ever intended on being this name, but it ended up being my name. So a lot of people just know me as that now, so I just have to answer to it now. But actually my name is Suzanne, like that, like Susie's like just my wee nickname type thing. But so I only started that. But anyway, Mac became my thing obviously now. And then Annie Mac, the Radio 1 DJ, she's just retired as well, so there's space for a new Mac in town now, I think.
Return of the Mac, definitely.
Exactly.
So if you what I would say is, obviously you're going down this career, you're online, you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram, TikTok. If there's anybody that's maybe who was in your shoes maybe 4 or 5 years ago looking to start up and become the next YouTuber or the next online DJ, or what sort of advice would you give to them?
I would say you have to be persistent with it, no matter what app it is. I'd say go where the people are. I would say that most people are turning over to TikTok now. I think that Instagram's had its day. It's slowly, I know people are still on it, but the way that everyone used to be on Facebook, then it became Instagram. I think TikTok is the one that like I feel like most people are going on to that now, no matter what age they are, because I get a lot of people saying, I'm too old for TikTok, I can't be on TikTok. I don't see any kids' videos on my TikTok channel at all. I see like mad things on my TikTok videos. Like I don't see any, because they know via the algorithm like what you should be seeing, so they basically tailor it to you. So I would say for me, I would be like, make a TikTok account, even if you're a small business as well, because you can grow small businesses on TikTok as well. You can sell stuff right now. They're getting quite nippy about that now though, because they're starting to have a TikTok business kind of situation where you can sell ads, because it's not really ads. Ads change everything when it comes to social media. Ads change everything. It means like they'll only show a certain type of content, etc. But yeah, I would say persistence, don't give up, try out different things, see what works for you, and try and enjoy it. Because listen, numbers are not everything. Like they're not. And if something dive bombs, it dive bombs. Everyone's stuff dive bombs. Like the other thing is, don't overthink it. Just post. Like just post. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that holds people back, because they're so scared of what other people will think about them. And you just have to just be fearless and just post. Just be uniquely yourself if you can. But a lot of people can't do that. They're too scared. They're just too scared. So just try your best. Just do what you want. If you're passionate about singing, sing. Look, we've seen the Wellerman guy, the Motherwell guy. I think he's Motherwell. He's somewhere. I don't know if he's out that kind of way. That the Nathan, I think his name is.
Yes.
Like he just posted a singing video, and look at his life. It's changed. So just people have got eyes on things, and viral stuff gets shown to a lot of people. So just take your chance, put yourself out there, just see what happens. But don't do it if you can't handle it, because it's a lot at times. When things go viral, it can be a lot. It can be a lot.
Great advice. Look her up online, SUZIE MAC. Get onto lighteupelectrics.com as well. It's been a pleasure. SUZIE MAC, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.